Athletes are more than just their numbers. Everything said and done, they are humans first. And just like all of us, they have a deep connection with places that made them and the people who supported them. In this new series, we try to look into those places and faces who made our superstars who they are today. Women's Cricket Zone proudly presents Places and Faces. In this episode, let's talk to the World Cup champion, Barbados and West Indies captain Hayley Matthews.
So let's start with your home, Kensington Oval.
I love.
What are the memories of playing at the ground?
I think my memories of Kensington Oval actually aren't more so the ones playing there. But I think growing up, my dad, he played for Pickwick Cricket Club, which was Kensington Oval was their home ground. So every single weekend, I'd be at Kensington Oval with him, watching him play cricket. And literally growing up on the grounds of Kensington Oval. So to be able to come back in an international career, play there, and also get my first entry there was something absolutely unbelievable. Remembering how much time I spent there as a kid growing up.
And now when you, as you said, you come back and play at that ground, is it like you've watched it from the boundary lines and now you're in the middle representing Barbados and West Indies? How is that feeling when you're playing in West Indies, but especially at your home ground?
Yeah, it's always pretty overwhelming. Just being out there, being in the middle, being in front of a Barbadian crowd, so much friends and family as well. All the Barbadian supporters have been supporting me from the time I was 5 years old straight up. So yeah, I love playing there. It's my favorite ground in the world, and yeah, I love every time that I can get back there.
From Barbados, from the place, let's get to another face who is also from Barbados, the world boss, Deandra Dottin. First word that pops in your mind.
First word, intimidating, but soft at the same time.
Yeah.
Deandra, she is, I think when anyone looks at her, on first thought they're like, oh, she's a bit scary, but she's the sweetest person that you'd ever meet if you really get to know her. So I think like that's the perfect description for her when it comes together. And
you played a lot of cricket alongside her. So what is the first memory of Deandra Dottin for you? Is that like, this is the fierce player that I'm seeing for a very long time, but now she's my teammate. So what is the first memory of her?
I think probably back when I was about 10 years old, and I started with the women's program in Barbados. I think I remember going to that first training session and seeing all the girls there. And I remember distinctly seeing Deandra Dottin. I was like, who is that girl? But yeah, that's my very first memory of her.
Also, taking both of you from Barbados, let's take a tour to one of the most special places, I would assume, for you, Eden Gardens, Kolkata, 2016. First word that pops in your mind.
Undescribable. I still think when I speak about that day, I'm pretty lost for words as to what happened and how it happened. Obviously, going into the tournament, not being expected to win, and then going into the finals as well, not being expected to win it at all. And I think as an 18-year-old, kind of going into the game with no fear, my first World Cup, and then I kind of look back on it now and realize how big of a moment it really was. But I think at that time I was just out there having the most fun that a teenage young girl could have out on a cricket field.
And to lift that trophy, that was a trifecta, the Under-19 World Cup, the Women's T20 World Cup and Men's T20 World Cup, all just fantastically owned by West Indies together. So how was that experience to celebrate? We saw the celebrations, and trust me, I have not seen that kind of celebrations before that and after that, top celebrations. So what were the celebrations like at the Eden Gardens?
Yeah, it was crazy. I think, obviously winning that, all the men rushed onto the field. I think there's a photo of myself in Carlos Rapid's arms. Jumped onto him. Obviously, me and him are pretty close from the time I was pretty young. My dad captained him growing up, so I knew Carlos from a pretty young age as well. And yeah, I think then when the men won and the manner that they won it in as well, being so anxious up in that box, watching, knowing that they needed 18 or 19 runs from the last over, and then for him to hit the 4 sixes. I think it was we weren't supposed to leave the box, and when that happened, everyone absolutely just ran out, sprinted through the crowd. The security was chasing behind us, like trying to stop us from getting through the crowd onto the field. It was something of dreams. I think when you grow up as a kid, dreaming about what the perfect day as a cricketer would look like, that is exactly what you dream about.
Can you do the champions pose even now? The dance.
In and out, yeah.
Hayley is a champion. Stefani is a champion. Fantastic. Also, from Eden Gardens, let's take to someone with whom you shared that century partnership in the World Cup final. Your captain, Stefani Taylor. What's the first word?
Leader, probably. From the time I've been in the team, she's been one of those role models at the peak, even before she was the captain. Even just growing up, watching her play, I always saw her as a role model and a leader, and it hasn't changed throughout the years, to be honest.
And also, I was in the press conference which two of you did, and I asked her the same question about seeing you grow up, and her reply was something. It was like she said she's known you for all these years, and to see you grow is fantastic. To have that kind of backup of your captain in the world tournaments, outside the world tournaments, and you started as a teenager, to have that kind of backing of someone who is herself very accomplished. How is that kind of a feeling that I have that kind of backup?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I think, like she said, obviously she's known me from pretty young, playing domestic cricket from the time I was 12 years old in the senior team. So, to be able to, and she literally took me in as, a solid integral part of the team, held me under her wing, and yeah, like I said, she was one of my role models growing up. So for us to be able to not only build a relationship on the field, but off the field as well, we're really good friends, has been something great to be a part of. And I think for sure it's something that is going to be really good over the next couple of years as well.